see you. Good to see you. Hello everybody, welcome. This is Nico from Unicorn Riot. We're here live in St. Paul off of Kellogg Avenue right now. Hundreds have gathered out here in protest of Line 3, construction of Line 3 in northern Minnesota. The permits were approved in mid-November. The final permits needed to construct one of North America's largest energy projects, fossil fuel extraction project as well. Tar sands is taken from Alberta, Canada, shipped through pipes from Canada into North Dakota, to Minnesota, and over to Wisconsin. That line, which is Line 3, has spilled before, produced one of America's largest inland oil spill in history. And this Enbridge Line 3 replacement pipeline project is billions of dollars, and as I said, one of the largest energy infrastructure projects in North American history. People are out here right now demanding that the permits be revoked. Joe Biden has revoked the permits for the Keystone XL, stopping that for now. Folks in Minnesota are asking for Line 3 to be given the same measures. A lot of actions have been happening to stop construction and to showcase the community's want for the permits to be revoked. There's been tree sits, there's been tripod setups, blockades. Today, this morning in northern Minnesota, 2 people locked their arms in between concrete barrels. So there was 3 barrels total, 2 on each side of the 2 humans and a concrete barrel in the middle. Locked down, stopping construction on the road that was near a site of a new pump station. So a lot of construction is happening in northern Minnesota right now. We're going to hear from state senators, some other speakers, as well as I think this is organized by Minnesota 350, along with a coalition of other groups like Northfielders against Line 3, a whole bunch of other groups. Check out our website, unicornriot.ninja, for more information. As the dancers dance, we're going to show you some of the signs that have been put up over here. Yeah, thank you. We'll talk to some people a little bit later. Bring you the rest of the signs. They got, we need a Green New Deal, not broken oil treaties, not broken treaties, climate chaos, Biden back fossil fuel, something, fossil free, excuse me. There's some of the signs. You see the police have blocked this street about 5-10 minutes ago. Also at that next block, I think this is a permitted march. They've already announced where they're going. They're going to be going to the Army Corps Engineers building here in downtown St. Paul, calling for the revoking of the permits that allow the pipeline to go over or under federal waters here in Minnesota. So right now the temperature is like 20 degrees out here. Again, 9-3 was approved, given this final approval.
For being out here as usual.
Thank you. Move for Justice. You want to plug Move for Justice?
Yeah, I'm with Move for Justice New. My name is Louie, and we're a pretty new news group. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram. We have a website. Our goal is to also have mentorship for BIPOC new photographers, young photographers. and then try to capture the news the best we can without any false narrative, just like the mainstream media. So there are about 5 or 6 of us photojournalists have been around for 6-7 years since the movement started. So we kind of know what we're doing, and we've been out here for a long time. So check us out on Move for Justice News, and always check out Unicorn Riot. Great group of people there too. So thank you.
Can I ask you a question real quick?
Sure.
I saw you were just up north. What did you witness the last time you were up north? If you want to be able to talk about some of the direct action or some of the community that you saw building that was resisting Line 3.
You know, the thing that I noticed up there now is that when the water protector were locking themselves down in like a certain pit or something to stop the construction, what the police started doing is like they put up this big tarp and not let us see how they were arresting the water protector. And we're like, we want to watch so that we know that they're safe. And we even asked if our medics could be down there to make sure they're safe. They said, no, we have a process. And they wouldn't even allow media or anybody. And then even when they brought the person up, the water protector up to put in the squad car, they even put a tarp up then. So we could not see a thing. And I asked the lieutenant, he said, well, we have a process that we go through and it'll be recorded. You can put in a data request, which, you know, takes a very long time. And then I said, well, you're here to serve the public, but yet your process in arresting somebody, you're not letting the public view what's going on. But these Enbridge employees can stand there and watch your process? That doesn't make sense. His response like, well, they're employees, so they're on their land so they can stand there they want. Well, I'm like, technically they're not on their land, they're on, you know, reservation land, treaty land. So that was his response pretty much, that's why the public could watch it, because they had a process. So I thought that was like just really bullshit, and there's no transparency there. So.
Well, appreciate you spending that time. Looks like the march might be starting, so thank you, Louis. Plug it one more time, Moves for Justice. Where can people find the website?
moveforjusticenews.org. You can find us there and on Facebook.
Sweet, thank you. Appreciate it, sir. Thanks for the words. You see the march is starting, or people are actually just moving with the sign, I'm not sure. Hey, what's up, man? Led by the dancers. Other people will start gathering behind. Line 3 oil pipeline is a pipeline that goes from Alberta, Canada to Wisconsin, to Superior, Wisconsin. Enbridge is the Canadian company that controls it. The biggest issue people have, it seems, has been the violation of treaty rights, treaty land that the pipeline is on. The fact that the pipeline crosses under the Mississippi River, possibly over at spots too, 200 different wetlands and rivers from my understanding, and at least 22 river crossings that line the new replacement Line 3 pipeline. They call it the replacement Line 3 pipeline because there was a pipeline that was built in the 60s. As I said, it had spilled in like the 90s, 91 or something. Largest inland oil spill in North American history, from my understanding. So this march is about to be going to the Army Corps Engineer, asking for the federal government, asking for Joe Biden to revoke the permits that were granted to Enbridge for the river crossings on federal land. I think this rally is called Protect the Water, Revoke the Permits. You see, it's a lot of people, a lot of art, a lot of signs. What's up, man? How you doing? Good.
my native land.
Very large march here. You see the back is still not come yet. Scientists against line 3. Quick estimate of 500 tops, maybe 3 to 500. It's hard to tell. This looks like about what it is though. Again, we're here on Kellogg Avenue, Kellogg Boulevard. I think I called it Avenue earlier too. My fault. You see the size of the crowd. You know, if you take chunks, like right now what you're looking at is about 35 to 40 people. And you add that into little segments, you get to about 400 or 500, maybe a little less. This is Robert Street, very busy thoroughfare. The police have shut it off on the other side of the bridge, it looks like. People are headed this way after stopping here at the intersection on Kellogg and Robert.
Welcome everybody. Let's give it up to the Mexica dancers, please. You know, it's beautiful to see this incredible turnout. I'm completely humbled. I'm at a loss for words to see the commitment, the dedication, and overall the will to stop line 3. But you know what? It goes further than that. We wouldn't just be out here in the cold for just a pipeline. You being out here is an example of your commitment to Turtle Island, to Mother Earth, and for that, I say to you, Chi McGwitch, give yourself a pat on the back, y'all. Now, we have a host of speakers that will be coming up and giving us the good word, as you will learn of the many ways you can get involved. As you know, there is so much to do when it comes to this work in this pipeline. Bear with me, you know, come here with an open heart, an open mind, give space to the elders to come forward, you know, give space to each other. It's COVID out here, you know, they say they got a Brazilian strain out now, so, you know, there's a Mexican one as well or something. You know, just please, 6 feet apart, wear your mask at all times, and don't feel scared to call somebody on BS if they're walking without a mask. If not, notify one of the marshals walking around or one of the brown berets and we'll get them straight. I'd like to open this up with our first speaker, Crystal. Is Crystal here? No? No, it's not the pipeline rescue.
Well, I don't see what.
No?
Hi, how are you?
Alright, last call for Crystal or Maggie. I saw them earlier. I know they're here. No? Alright. Yeah. Well, that was our land acknowledgement, but you'll get one from me.
Hey!
Heck yeah. Now, we have to be real. We are standing on Dakota land in the occupied state of Minnesota, in the colonial kingdom of so-called the United States. We have to acknowledge that this pipeline is the result of imperialism. It's not just about the fossil fuel industry. As we begin to talk about a just green transition, we have to include what that looks like for indigenous and BIPOC people. Because we're the ones that face the brunt of so-called progress. So as we acknowledge whose land we are on, we must first make it a point to include them at the table. Tribal sovereignty, as well as their citizens, deserve a seat at the table, and their interests deserve to be upheld when decisions are being made, because many of us are privileged. Where do you think that water comes from that comes out of your tap?
That's the federal court building.
Where do you
right
think
here.
the gas that heats up your home comes from? You know? And as you think about these things and what needs to be done, make sure to make it a point to always remind yourself whose land you're on and how you're going to honor Native people at the decision making. All right.
Here, the land acknowledgement.
Now, talking about decision making, I'd like to open up this space to legislators and electeds and other important people with fancy titles to come up and say some words. Those that have not been confirmed to speak. So please come up, honorary important people. While we're waiting for the important people, let's get another important person up. Sam, the executive director of MN 350, please come up and stand right here. Bonjour. Anin. Good afternoon, family. Thank you for loving the land enough to be out here in the cold. Thank you to the dancers for being out here in the cold. Thank you for Joe for the land acknowledgement and setting this up. Thank you to all of you who did all you could to transition us out of number 45 into number 46. That was a necessary gain, but now we have a whole lot of work to do. In the first few days of this new administration, they have begun to do some things that are very constructive and are on the right track. Stopping XL, now we need them to go further beyond saying no more fossil fuel infrastructure and pay attention to the fossil fuel infrastructure that our governor and our Minnesota Pollution Control Agency have wrongly allowed to begin construction. We need President Biden, and I want you to say it loud as F. Stop line 3. Stop line 3. Stop line 3. President Biden, Vice President Harris, thank you for stepping in at a critical time on the earth. All of us earthlings together are speaking to you with one voice. There's more work we need you to do. Construction has begun. Destruction of the forest has begun. Continued violation of treaty rights has been extended on Turtle Island, and we're asking you to say and to stop line 3 today. It's already past 5 o'clock in Washington, D.C., so go ahead and stop it tomorrow. But we need you to stop line 3. When the MPCA and the governor decided to allow this permit, they used a form of thinking that is not fit for the 21st century. They decided that using narrow-minded thinking that it made sense to go ahead and allow line 3 because
the water regulations were stronger now than they will be in January, than they would be in January, which we're in now. We said very clearly to allow Line 3 is a violation of climate integrity, and to allow Line 3 is a violation of treaty rights. And they said, and I quote, treaty rights have no bearing in the way we're thinking about this. So I'm asking all of you, all of our relatives here, to recognize that all people are treaty people. Say it. All people are treaty people. We all have an obligation to learn how to use microphones. We all have an obligation to honor the original people of this land and to defend treaty rights as though our own lives depend on it every single day. That is a basic beginning to becoming into right relationship with the land we're standing on right now and the original people of this land and with each other. I guarantee you, if we honor treaty rights and we honor our original people, all of us will be happier, all of us will be healthier, and the land will sing right along with us. It's time to stop the illusion that we can do better by destroying the earth and thinking about short-term gains at the expense of long-term wellness. Climate integrity and relational integrity are fundamentally bound to each other. Fundamentally bound to each other. I apologize, I didn't pass the class on microphone use. What would help? And then just hold it right up here. Yes, sir. That's my teacher, Andy Pearson. And he's a good teacher. Well, we'll see if he's a good teacher, if this works. It's working so far. So, I don't want to take too much time, because I'm hoping that the three of the Magnificent Seven, some new legislators who are coming into Minnesota and who are committed to throwing down with us to defend the intersectionality of racial justice and climate justice, want to come and talk about the level of commitment they're bringing and to invite you to help them stand strong against a state that calls itself a state that follows the science, and yet 36 of the senators in Minnesota are climate deniers. How is that possible? It's unacceptable, and we have to let all of the people living in the districts of those 36 senators who are climate deniers that their time has come and gone. It's necessary that they can't stay in office as people who are denying the reality that we're living in. Not only the climate reality, but the racial justice reality that we're living in. So we have to move together as people and practice as democracy in motion, the kind of energy that transitions out all toxic energy in people and in behavior of people on the earth. Let's begin that journey with each other. The future is in our hands and in our hearts, not in people who are in office, not in people who are running our corporations. It's up to us. And we have been making the mistake for too long of giving people trust that hasn't been earned. And we have broken ourselves in relation to each other, and we don't trust each other like we need to anymore. So we have to heal our relations and come together. One people, one land. One people, one land. One people, one land. So I want to invite up Senator Murphy. Is she here? Where are you? I don't see you. And invite up Jen McEwen, and invite up, where's my people? Oh, there it is.
Yeah. And before we hear from them, we have some Dakota relatives, as you know, as I briefly mentioned, as Sam said, about bringing our relatives to the table, giving them space to talk, to voice themselves. We have here Maggie Lawrence from the Con TP to come give us some words real quick.
Homie takieti. Chantemo aste na peachiuza pie. Chantemo aste ya dayan ya hipi. Thank you all for being here. It makes my heart happy to see so many people out here to protect Unchimaka, our grandmother Earth. As Dakota people, we believe that the water is the blood of our grandmother. And it's our responsibility to be good stewards of this land and this water. Before I say anything more about myself or my organization, I want to ask my nephew to come and share a song. Church Lagarde. He's going to start with a prayer song and a water song. This photo's okay?
Hey,
So I won't take up too much of your time, but I just wanted to let you guys know a little bit about myself and the group that I'm with. My name is Maggie Lorenz, and I'm the Executive Director for Lower Failing Creek Project and the Waupun TV Center. We're a Native-led environmental nonprofit group right here in St. Paul on the east side, and we work to protect some of our sacred sites and burial sites over here in St. Paul. And so while we support the Line 3 efforts, and we support DAPL, the fight against that, and all of the other fights in Indian country across Turtle Island, we also have work to do here at home. And so I just want to encourage all of you to look to what's happening locally in your own communities. Look to what's happening to those sacred sites. Learn about the land that you're on. You know, as Dakota people, we are not a loud people. We're very modest, and we don't ask for a lot. We don't speak up for ourselves as much as maybe some others, but we try to be respectful of all of our relatives. And so I ask, when you organize things like this and gatherings, to not forget about the people who are original to this land that you stand on. This is Dakota land. I'm going to pass the microphone off to our events coordinator, Michelle Bowman from Sasituan, Okpetuan, Oyate.
Hamidakiaki, Tantewashte Napechuzapie, Michelle Bowman Amakiapie, De Sisituan Ko Okpetuan Yate Mataha, Ampetugde Nina Yomakpi. Hello, my relatives. My name is Michelle Bowman. I come from the Wana family in Sisseton, Wahpeton, Oyate in South Dakota. Today, I am really happy to be here, really happy to see all these faces, all these non-native faces and native faces here fighting to protect our lands and our waterways. As Dakota people, we believe Mani is our first medicine, one of our first medicines, that when we enter this world, we come from our mother's womb that's wrapped in water. And when we come into this world, those tears that come out of our eyes remind us of that medicine. Today, we wanted to come here in solidarity with our Anishinaabe relatives to say and to demand that President Joe Biden revoke these permits and uphold our treaty rights, Anishinaabe treaty rights. Niniwi water is life. Without water, none of us would exist. None of us. Absolutely none of us. And so it warms my heart to see everybody here, but I want to uplift with what my Mashke Maggie said, that we are all here out of good reason, but if we organize without the intention to center Native people and to uplift Native women, femmes, Two-Spirit, trans folks, our relatives that will be most affected by these pipelines, we are just continuing that violence. So when we organize and we're in spaces like this together and with each other, we have to center our women. Oh, sorry. Not used to speaking or seeing all this many people. I want to say Kirama. Thank you so much for coming. And Nono, do you want to say any words?
I'm going to hand this off here to my niece, Winona Owen. She's a strong advocate for Unchimaka and for the waters. She's been to Hawaii to protect that mountain. and she's always doing what she can for the people. She's a strong leader and she has good, strong voice. So I'm happy that she's here today and willing to share some words with you guys. My name is Winona Owen. I come from Tinta Huita, or the Prairie Island Indian community. I've been actively fighting since I was 15, and I'm 20 now. We live in a world that's plagued by greed, especially by those in power. Where with nearly no incentive, we show up for them, and we vote for them, and we organize as communities of color, as people. They're giving us baseless claims, and we show up in record numbers for them. And what are they doing? And this fight has been going on for too long. It's a long and gruesome fight, and I think it's important that we keep going, that we protect our water and our earth and the things we love that keeps us fulfilled. But like I said, it's a long and gruesome fight, and I'm so grateful to see everybody here amongst a pandemic, fighting for water, fighting for people, and fighting for our future generations. So, Hidamaya, and have a good day.
Give it up for them, please. I would like to say a Chimagwich to our Dakota relatives for standing side by side with us, because they bring up a lot of great points. Let's acknowledge them for bringing the Manilu into this space, as well as Iroots, Chimagwich for bringing the Manilu, the Great Spirit into these spaces. We have to uplift our women, our Two-Spirit, lift up their voices, listen to them, give them leadership positions. Bring up the voices of our youth. That's our future. But that's a very indigenous teaching, a value. That it's not about me or some other person in power, but it's about the future and that next generation. And so, speaking of power, honestly, I'm excited to invite Mary Kanish, Jennifer McEwen. You guys are amazing. Thank you for clapping at Pete Stauber, that son of a bitch. But that's enough for me. Please.
Shante Washte. 4 years ago, I could not utter those words. Even though I come from a long line of strong Lakota, Standing Rock women and men, I've been displaced from my community all my life. My grandfather left the reservation and came to St. Paul during the relocation. And even though he instilled in us the pride of our heritage, we weren't in that community. But we knew in our heart that we belonged to the land and the land belonged to us as Dakota people.
This is Mary Kanish.
But fortunately, 4 years ago I was elected to the House of Representatives, and we created the very first Native American caucus.
She's the first indigenous senator of Minnesota.
4 women for the first time in our history. were able to create a caucus of Native American interests, fighting for Native American rights, fighting for treaty rights and sovereignty rights, and believe it or not, we got shit done. But along that way, I was so blessed to be encouraged and supported and mentored and taught by people like Maggie Lorenz. She's the one that taught me my language. Here I am, you know, in my mid-50s, and finally learning my language and how that roots you to the ground. So when I talk about some of the great things about being an elected official, I would say the number one thing is being connected back to my ancestors. And that connection brings me here today. And it brings me here today with hope and honor, but it also makes me so worried about the future. The future of this land that we stand on, the future of Turtle Island, because we have people making decisions without us. And that has been the way it has always been for our Native folks. And so when Sam made the comment about those that were able to make the decision that treaty rights or sovereignty didn't matter or didn't factor into the decision to allow Line 3 to go forward, I'm sure that every single one of us felt that rumble of horror and fear. And the fact that, well, there's an executive direction out there that we are supposed to all our government agencies and people are to recognize the sovereignty and the treaty rights of our American Indian people here. Once again, it is discarded when it suits those who want to run these lines through our country, through our state. And we all know this is such an unnecessary effort. We need to make that movement towards a cleaner economy. We need to make sure that we are taking care of this world, this land right now for the next 7 generations. And when they were looking for all the arguments why we needed this Line 3, jobs was a big one. Who doesn't need a good job? But we all knew what was going to happen, and it has happened. All those jobs, how many of them are really Minnesota workers? Very few of them. And you know what they do? They hire people on as subcontractors. Because when you have subcontractors, you don't have to pay any benefits. You don't have to pay health insurance. You don't have to do any of those other things. So what does Line 3 do? They subcontract. And who does that affect? That affects our people. And once again, it is taking advantage of the disadvantaged. And then I want to talk about our missing and murdered Indigenous women. Three years ago, I introduced a bill in the Minnesota House of Representatives to create a task force. It took me 2 years to get that, which is pretty, and believe me or not, that is pretty fast in the legislature. But we got it done, and they gave us very little money, and they gave us very little time. But we did it. We did it, and we put a report out in December. And the Enbridge people were really upset that we would even assume that any of those workers would be active in the sex trafficking or taking advantage of our women and our two-spirits. They wanted me to prove that that was happening anywhere. Well, one of the problems is that nobody ever collected the data. Imagine that nobody collected the data on missing women, missing Indigenous women, or murdered women. And when they did, it was messed and confused with so many other things. And they wanted me to prove that the extraction industry and bringing all these men into one place, into man camps, was not a threat to communities. That's what I said, bullshit. Because we know it's happening now. We know it has happened for generations. It has happened since the first white man stepped onto this continent. And so we're not going to be quiet. We're not going to stop. When people call me and say, hey, there's trafficking at that gas station on the corner in Bemidji, or there's stuff going on, dating sites are blowing up. Well, you bring 4,000 men into a little tiny place, what's going to happen? And then I get a call that some of those Enbridge folks that are earning good money, a living wage, that they're probably sending out of our state, out of our economy, are now taking advantage of homeless shelters so that they don't have to pay for hotel or their own housing. And those are the games that happens when we let this kind of an industry come in and run the show. Every one of us here right now said no to Line 3. And we're not the only ones. All across this country, people are saying no to Line 3. So this year, I was fortunate to be elected to the Senate. And we had another groundbreaking moment because I am the first Native American woman, the first indigenous woman of North America to be elected to the Minnesota Senate. Here we are, 2021. And we are just getting that representation. And let me tell you, representation makes a difference. Because I've been able to get funding for our Indian schools. I've been able to create that task force. I've been able to work on jurisdictional issues with tribal police and county police. I've been able to get extra funds for arts and entertainment for our Native Americans. And that's because somebody stepped up to represent. But it wasn't just myself. It was people like these women behind me and other people around me that said we need folks that are going to stand up and speak their truth. And this isn't an easy thing to do. 4 years ago, I'd be shaking in my boots. But this is so important. And I just want to say, Wopala Tonka, Pilamia to all of you for coming out here today on this COVID day, this cold day, and honoring the earth, honoring the water, honoring our indigenous people. And thank you to our dancers that come every single time that they are invited. And thank you to this beautiful group of women back here. And so I just want to one more time say, Chief Miigwech, keep it up. We got to make sure that Biden hears us all the way to Washington, D.C. So let's hear a good stop line 3. Stop line 3. Stop line 3.
We can.
Stop line 3.
We will.
Stop line 3.
We must.
Stop line 3. All right, I'm going to turn it over to another fabulous, strong leader. We have a new senator in the House, Senator Jennifer McEwen from Duluth, and she'd like to say a few more words. Here you go. Well, I'm really humbled and honored to have been asked to say a few words. And I am so proud to stand with my sister, Mary Kunis, and I'm so humbled to have been getting to know Mary over these past months. I'll be really short. What I have to say today is just a couple things. We know that now is the time. Scientists the world over are telling us we got 10 years. 10 years to turn this ship around and to do a 180. That is not a lot of time. We simply do not have time for line 3. We do not have time to go backwards like that. Now, one of the things that I think that we encounter a lot as elected officials is they want to make us choose. I just saw this today on my social media. Someone trying to make me choose. You have to choose between workers and a future for our planet. Who are you going to choose? They keep trying to divide us, and they will keep trying to divide us. But the work of elected officials is easy compared to the work that people are doing up in Palisade, compared to the work that all of you are doing. I want you to just stop for a moment, and I want you to look to your left, and I want you to look to your right, and look at all these beautiful faces, their eyes over the mask. Look at all these people, and just feel that love and feel that goodwill. We will do this. We have to do this. We will not choose. We will respect workers' rights. We will build a better future for ourselves and guarantee a good future for our children and our grandchildren and the generations to come. So thank you so much, all of you, for being here and for standing in solidarity against Line 3. We will stop Line 3.
You know, I don't even like the colonial caste system like that, but I like Jen and Mary a whole lot. Can we give them a cheer again? And now we're going to make our way to the Army Corps building, but before we do, I'd like to acknowledge that we've been holding this shit down for a good minute, so I'd like to just shout out real quick and please shout back, whose streets? Our streets! Whose streets? Our streets! Alright, let's go take over the Army Corps building. Let's go.
So we're here in St. Paul. This is Nico from Unicorn Ride. We heard from Senator Jen McEwen and Senator Mary Knush Olin. Good, how are you? Good to see you, man. Long time no see. Absolutely. Yeah. Keep up the work. I'm really glad you're always doing this thing. Federal building right here. All the people that are charged with federal crimes in Minnesota, well, not all the people, but a lot of the people go to court here. If you want to see new actions that have happened up at Line 3, there's a lot of resources like the GNU Collective, Stop Line 3, on social media, as well as other independent journalists. Move for Justice has been actually live streaming from drones showing the pipeline. Today there was a lockdown in northern Minnesota. Check out our Twitter feed for the picture from the GNU Collective. 2 people locked themselves down into concrete barrels, blocking the road for construction for Line 3. We just released a couple videos showing other direct actions that were happening in December. Literally almost every single day there's a direct action. If it's not up north, there's one in the city or in a smaller town. There's lawsuits pending, and there's other efforts that people are taking, permit-wise and other, in attempts to get the Line 3 pipeline construction halted, stopped. Again, right now, it was approved in mid-November after many, many years of fighting against it from many different community groups, indigenous groups, tribes, environmental groups. It was approved in November, as I said. Immediately there was actions there was protests outside of Wall's house. The last people who gave the approval, I think, was the Minnesota Public Utilities Commission. In response to the approval, 12 of their 17 members or employees, forgive me if I'm speaking about it wrong, quit in protest of the approval, saying that they should not be approving it. And I might have some of those facts wrong, excuse me if I do. But you can check out the full facts on our website, unicornride.ninja. We do have a brand new post up, a new article that encapsulates this live stream, as well as a few of the new videos that have happened. We just published a video from last weekend featuring a lot of these same dancers up north near Palisades, Minnesota. Right now, this action is headed towards some Army Corps of Engineers building, which is right up the street. It's been the site of other protests in the past few years against pipeline projects. One of the latest times that people came here, or one of the other times, was against the Dakota Access Pipeline. Actually in fall 2016. So you can go to our website, unicornride.ninja, for more information on Line 3, the resistance to it, why people are fighting against it. In 2017, we produced a mini documentary about why people are fighting to stop Line 3 construction, what's important to them, being the treaty rights, the Monument. It's the whole way of life, wild rice. It's a way of life for the indigenous folks in northern Minnesota, as well as other places. This pipeline project immediately threatens that way of life. A lot of the environmental folks say it's not a matter of if the pipeline leaks or spills, it's a matter of when. Very large crowd.
What do we want? When do we want it? Now. Everybody say thank you, Unicorn Riot!
There's multiple resistance camps up north Minnesota right now. There's Camp McGeezy, the Welcome Center, Camp Red Lake, numerous camps. There's other camps that people are not naming. Again, there's actions pretty much every day. The Army Corps of Engineers building is right here. There's actions pretty much every day up north. Here's the building, I think.
A powerful ancestor, and I am okay, like I said, a water protector, a strong ancestor. She comes from the Mille Lacs band of Ojibwe. Please give it up to Tanya.
Bonjour, bonjour, people in the good way and days na ka. Pako mo ni ka ako mo ni ka. Oh, what's the thing? Iko ate skam ni dede ni gani ma. Bangi to go ni na tajo boy mo when. Forgive me, Zaganashi will win. Can I give a shout out for the Black Snake Killer? Black Snake Killer! 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 All right, we got a bunch of Black Snake Killers here in Minneapolis, St. Paul area. Thanks for showing up down here. It's been a pleasure taking a ride from Palisade and coming down here to visit with you all. And I want to show appreciation to all of you who have come up to Palisade. Miigwech for coming up there and visiting our camp and to be able to see what's going on up there. Miigwech,
Check.
Salamia, Dakota, Winyan for being here. Up there in northern Minnesota, there are Dakota graves up there that we are watching and protecting up there also. Under Big Sandy Lake, there are Dakota graves up there too. So we are doing our best to be able to protect those graves too. Miigwech for standing in solidarity here with us. Yes, these are our lands. I want to let you know too that law enforcement has been doing some surveillance, reconnaissance work on us. They have been flying helicopters over us today. That's just the beginning. And two, they've been flying airplanes over at the camp, making sure that they want to know who's all in our area there. So, what else are we going to come to expect next? Those of you who were out at Standing Rock over at the Dakota Access Pipeline Movement know what comes next. Next comes the dogs. Next comes the tear gas and the rubber bullets. Do we want that? Hell no. Just recently, within the last 5 days, we had a Native woman over at a gas station up in McGregor, Minnesota. She was in line doing her thing, trying to pay for her grocery shopping there. A pipeline worker without a mask came up behind her and started acting derogatory behaviors and derogatory language. She told him to back up, and what did he tell her? Ooh, you can back that thing up my way. It's like, dang, boo. For us up there in northern Minnesota, that's just a prelude of what's to come for the missing, murdered Indigenous women. We do not want that or tolerate that in our communities. That's right, hell no. The other thing too, we want to know where that Ojibwe Warrior Society permit is. Where's that permit at?
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 The Ojibwe Warrior Society is standing in front of you asking where that permit is. There is no documentation of that. Enbridge did not have us even on that map when they decided to put that pipeline through. They did not. They don't even recognize us as human beings, so to speak. I'm angry, I'm mad, and I'm very tired. I've been through this process for the last 11 years and watching what's happening. I've been out at the Dakota Access Pipeline also, and I went on a 28-day hunger strike for the fresh, clean water that we are to have on these lands. And I'm here to prove to you that water is life.
Water is life.
I'm getting really emotional now because you know what? They want to put that pipeline through. I'm thankful for Unchimaka ni Mama Aking for doing what she does during this time in the winter time and freezing up the waters. Reason being is that they cannot put that horizontal drill through the waters when it's frozen. Thank you, Unchimaka, for doing that for us. Because the reason for that is because if they try to drill through underneath the water there, we cannot tell if they broke through an aquifer. And the sign for that would be the cloudiness of the water and the poisonous stuff that they send through the pipe. So I'm asking you today to come up and visit us. Come up and see what we are facing up there. There are several camps up there right now. Camp McGizzy, the Mississippi, the Welcome Water Protector Center, Red Lake Treaty Camp, and I know that there are others that I'm missing right now. Come up and join us, stand with us up there. Show Governor Walz that there are people who care. Show Governor Walz that we do not want this pipeline to come through our territories. And that's what I tell DNR, and that's what I tell law enforcement, that they have no jurisdiction. They have no jurisdiction in 1855 treaty territory. I told the government officials that showed up over at camp over there, game's over, the lease is up, the land goes back to the Indians. Miigwech. Black snake killers!
Black snake killers!
Black snake killers!
Black snake killers!
I love you, black snake killers.
Woo! We love you too, Tanya!
Okay. Well, first of all, miigwech to Tanya for being here and also for sharing those words and being so welcoming at the Water Protector Welcome Center. My name is Shania Matson, and I'm also up in Palisade, and I want to talk a little bit about Palisade actually, because there were some questions earlier from some of the leaders who spoke about how we got here. And I think that Palisade is a really good illustration of how we got here. I grew up in Palisade, so it's a town of about 100 people. So there are more people here in the street right now than in the town that I grew up in. And the reason that Palisade is there as a town is because of the railroad. The railroad could make a crossing of the Mississippi River on the high bank in Palisade. So it's there as a town because settlers were part of moving, part of an extraction industry from the beginning of the very town. So when people talk about, you know, that just really, sorry, I lose my words because I'm getting very emotional also. We've been having a lot of conversations at the Welcome Center in Palisade about how this space right there at the Mississippi River where Enbridge is right now, they've got pipe in the ground. They have welded pipe together and it's in the ground, and they've got a drill pad ready to drill beneath the Mississippi River. That this is kind of a portal. And we have a choice about how we're going to move through that space and what's going to come next. And are those of us, like my family, settlers, are we going to continue those patterns of extraction? No, we're not. Are we going to believe that that is our, like Pete, our way of life, Stauber says, that this is the best we can do. These are the jobs we need. That's the future. We need to not settle for that, right? We need to stand with Tanya and with other Anishinaabe people who are saying that this is the 1855 treaty territory. We are all treaty people. It's our responsibility to uphold those treaties and to protect the water. But some people have forgotten. I hear around town a lot, you know, people say, well, I don't really want the pipeline, but it's going to happen anyway. It's inevitable. We need those jobs. And it's that is what really drove me to move back to Palisade and to be there at the Welcome Center, because I believe that part of stopping Line 3 has to be imagining and creating what's next. So close your eyes for a minute and think about a year from now or 2 years from now. Where are we? What are each of us as individuals doing? What did we do? What did we do to stop this pipeline? And are we going to be back here talking about a mine, a Talon mine, in Aiken County? We want to mine copper and nickel in a wet, swampy area there. Or polymet. We won't be able to stop this cycle of extraction until we address the underlying harms and the need for healing. And those of us who are settlers, to do that work of repair. And part of that repair work is really to stand together. Come north. You have a responsibility. This is your drinking water that folks are standing up to protect. Be there. Witness. And then use whatever power you have to do something. So we've created a space there north of Palisade. You can find us, just follow the river north, 15 miles north of Palisade. And that's a space where you're all welcome to come and to do that work of repair and of healing. The local law enforcement, they want to paint us as criminals. They're circling choppers, they're telling stories, they're telling lies. In a small town, that hurts people. That puts lives at risk. We need you to be there to tell the real story about what's happening and to look at that pipeline construction and tell us who are the criminals. And then also to see the work that's being done with love at all the camps. Folks are doing this work because of deep love that they have for their people and for their place. So I just want to invite you to come and be part of that. And I'm really grateful to be here and to see so many people here in the cold. So miigwech and wopira, and thank you for being here. I think Tasha, or is, yeah?
Bonjour, everyone. I just want to take a moment and recognize that when Fond du Lac signed the approvals for the Line 3 Enbridge replacement project, they took away the voice of the other Anishinaabe nations. And in the spirit of that, I want to ask my sister to come up here and speak for Red Lake. Sasha, can you come up here? Woo! Give it up for my sister.
My name is Tarzan Stone. I'm from Red Lake. I'm from the Bear Clan. We're very much water people up there, and we really pride ourselves on our clean water up there. If you guys look at the Minnesota water table, all of our water up there is still in very good condition, and I just don't know why they want to come to our lands where it's still clear, clean water. All our wild rice beds are up there. That's very sacred to us, and we have to protect our wild rice at all costs. And if it takes us coming from up north where we're safe in our own homes to come down here to speak to all of you, I hope that our words are heard. We stand strong with the other women here from the other places. We all stand together, and I hope that you stand with us. Help me good.
Bonjour. Indigenous Nagachimunang and Dunjiba Nagizi to Autumn. Hello everyone, my name is Tasia Martineau and I come from the Fond du Lac Reservation. It's been a long 7-year fight. It has been a long 7-year fight, and I want to thank everyone here today who's been involved in that fight in one way or another. To all the people who have been lobbying, all the people who have been our keyboard warriors, everyone who's been sharing, showing up, and throwing down, miigwech. But now's the time for action. Now is the time for action. Back home, they're burying this pipe. They're burying this pipe. And I can't stop this alone. And it's because of community that I can stand here today as a landowner. Because land back does matter. In under 30 days, we were able to raise $30,000 thanks to all of the people standing here today. And this isn't the first time a camp has gone up in Fond du Lac. Maingan and Muckwa ran, and now Magizi will fly. And I need you, each and every single one of you. I need you to join me on the front line. Because Enbridge has approached me, and they've asked me to sit down and meet with them. But I will never sit at the table with my enemy. And if Enbridge wants to meet us, they will meet us on the front line. And I need you there with me. We will stop this pipeline together. All of us. Because united, Enbridge doesn't stand a chance. Miigwech.
When I say land, you say back. Land! Back. Land! Back. Land! Back. That's the mentality we need. Too many examples of so-called United States violating treaties. They're doing it now. Now our water's at stake. For what? A foreign company to make a quick buck before renewables kick in? Exactly. Eco-terrorists. It ain't right. I spoke about it earlier about who's at the table. Do we need to be at the table? Maybe. But we definitely need to fight this thing. Get rid of the whole entire colonial caste system is more like it. Flip the fucking table. But before we get to that, organizing needs to happen. These camps, they need resources. They need wood. You know, they need blankets. Each one of them has a list on their Facebook page. I implore you to check it out periodically. Organize amongst your homies, your other relatives. You know, bring them up. You know, come up for a weekend. Come up for the weekday. Sacrifice that time. Put your bodies on the line. Because it's all too often our Kwe, our women, our Two-Spirit who are on the front lines. Where are we at? I ask you, where are we at? The front lines. That's where we need to be. You know, and it looks differently. Taisha mentioned keyboard warriors. They're important too. We need them. That land back didn't just happen. Took a lot of people sharing. And it's a lot, we know. It's a lot to pay attention, to be involved day after day. But could you imagine being on the front lines? Waking up to the cold, going to sleep in the cold? To put your body on the front lines? Exactly. Wake up, go up there, be an ally. Unsettle yourself. You are a settler on this land. So, I want to open this up to our relatives at the Land Steward Project to talk more about other land projects. We got our relatives from that? What's happening? Give it up for them, y'all.
Hi, my name is Taylor with the Land Stewardship Project. I live in St. Louis Park now, but I grew up on a farm in northeastern South Dakota, and I understood the sacred nature of our relationship with the land, water, and our fellow humans. For far too long, our government has aided and abetted terrible injustices against these lands, the water, and these humans. As a society, we've accepted the idea that corporate short-term gain is more important than the health and well-being of our future Earth and its people. Is this the legacy that we want to leave? Must our children pay for the sins of our greed? How is it so easy for us to invest billions to prop up dying industries, but so hard for us to find the money to invest in clean, renewable options that are inevitably the way of the future? Our rural communities deserve long-term green solutions. They deserve jobs that will pave the way for cleaner tomorrows. Our indigenous brothers and sisters deserve more. They deserve to have their treaties upheld and honored. They deserve their land and water free from toxic oil and greed of foreign entities. We all deserve a future world that we can be proud to pass down to our children. Letting Line 3 proceed doesn't allow for any of that. Our governor has failed us, and we ask that President Biden step in and stop Line 3 immediately. Revoke the federal permits, put people on the land above all corporate profits. We all depend on having long-term and good-paying jobs that are in harmony with the earth. Rural, urban, white, black, indigenous, we all depend on having clean air to breathe, soil to grow good food, water to drink, and a climate that is not only livable but healthy. We desperately need to transition to a carrying economy in which all of us thrive. No exceptions. We need our elected officials to recognize the urgency of this moment and take action immediately. I know we'll be here, continuing to pressure them until they do. Thank you to every single one of you here right now for taking action and showing our collective power. Together we will stop Line 3.
And just because I love to hear them speak, give it up for Tasha one more time, y'all.
Bonjour, everyone. I guess I'll talk a bit about camp. We purchased 9.35 acres of land thanks to the donations of hundreds and thousands of people who believe in us and believe in the vision that we have for that spot. We closed on the 9th, and thanks to Birdie here laying on the street right there, we had shop set up by the 10th, and we are up operating, and every day. It's every day we're out there. You know, they're moving machinery. Birdie's body's right in front of that machine. They're digging up dirt. We're putting someone in that hole. Because in Fond du Lac, we didn't sign for that permit. Kevin Dupas Sr. does not speak for me. The RBC does not speak for me. No governing body can speak for me. Absolutely. You know, and I didn't come here to simp for Biden to stop a pipeline. I came here looking for warriors. And I know that there's an Ogichida spirit in each and every single one of you. Now I hold no hope that the great chief of the white people are going to come and save me. I got 4 children at home. I have 4 children at home. And I can't promise my 15-month-old son that he's gonna grow up gathering wild rice. I can't promise my 3 beautiful children that they won't become a statistic, because growing up, they teach you 1 in 3. So when I see those white trucks on my land, that is a direct threat to my children. And whenever Enbridge Boots hits ground, I will be there. We will be there. But I need bodies. I need bodies to fill those boots. I need more people on the front line. So I'm here today to ask you to join us at Camp McGeezy, because I need you. I can't do this alone. No one can. And the way we move forward into a better world is together. That's what the 7th Fire Prophecy is speaking of. It's not about me and my people. It's about our non-Indigenous allies recognizing the harm that they've caused and moving forward in a good way. And we do that together. So I invite you to come to Camp McGeezy, where we will feed you. We will feast with you. And together, we will build a world that in 100 years, when our grandchildren speak about when we stopped Line 3, we will be people worth speaking of. So tomorrow, I ask you to join me in the heart of the beast, there in Superior, Wisconsin, at the Douglas County Courthouse, at 10 a.m. I ask that you come, stand with us and bear witness, because we need you. Miigwech.
And again, check out Tasha and Cat McGeezy's updates on their Facebook page at Cat McGeezy. Search it. It's 2 words. And this has been an incredible experience shutting shit down with you all. It's been awesome. I'm gonna open up the closing to Jessica. She's gonna sing us a song, have us leave in a good way.
Man, it is good to be here today. Oh man, all these people just lifted me up. It's exactly what I needed. Hello, my name is Jessica Garraway. I'm with Extinction Rebellion and the Workers' Defense Alliance. I'm a black anarchist. I'm a water protector. I'm a fighter for the people. I want to share this song with you today. The words came to me thinking about some of the work that I was a part of during the Dakota Access Pipeline fight. A crew called Mississippi Stand in Iowa. We fought by doing blockades and lockdowns to stop the boring underneath the Mississippi River, to stop that project. And these words also came to me when preparing and getting ready for this Line 3 fight as well. So if you could join me and sing with me, that'd be wonderful. The tune is familiar, Wade in the Water. But what we're gonna do is we switched it up. I switched it up a little bit. So I'm gonna sing Wade in the Water, Wade in the Water, Wade in the Water. And then you're gonna sing Protector's Gonna Defend the Water. Okay? Ready? Okay. And feel free to clap, feel free to join in. Wade in the water, wade in the water, oh, wade in the water. Protector's gonna defend the waters. See them pipelines coming round. Protector's gonna defend the waters. We're turning their plans upside down. Protector's gonna defend the water. The water's sacred like me and you. Protector's gonna defend the waters. And those who pollute the water are damn fools. Protector's gonna defend the waters. I said wade in the water, wade in the water, oh, wade in the water. Protector's gonna defend the waters. I said protector's gonna defend the waters. All right, thank you so much. We're gonna beat this pipeline.
I always hate following up after great acts. Give it up to Jessica, everybody. That was beautiful. I'm inspired. I'm hopeful. You know, nearly 600 people showed out today. Right, goddamn. And, you know, stood out in the cold. So again, whether it's making your way up north or getting some mutual aid for the camps and donating to their PayPals and Venmos, you have it within yourself, in your circles, to make a difference. You don't need to stand in front of the pipeline itself, but we need all the help we can get. So I implore you, after this, check out the Facebook page, you know, the pages, check out what's needed, get involved, and let's stop a damn pipeline, everybody. Yeah, let's do that. It's over now. I know, right? Kind of like a therapist session. It's time. We can march back to Kellogg for those who parked over there. If not, y'all free to go however you please. Peace out, everybody.
Yeah, we're here in downtown Minneapolis, or downtown St. Paul, outside of the Army Corps Engineer building right now, or a building that houses the Army Corps Engineer offices. We're actually live on Twitch, so if you mess with Twitch, we are on there. Unicorn_riot. Forgot to mention that earlier. Try to grab a couple interviews real quick. Looks like everybody's hustling back. It's very cold. We're gonna bring the stream down shortly. Probably grab an interview or two before we bring it down. Hey, do you have a moment? Do you have a moment to speak? Can you do it right now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Whoa, let me turn this down. Yeah, I don't mean to do that.
Okay.
I can hold this for you since you got your hands full, or you can hold it. So you want to introduce yourself and what has life been like in these last 7 years, but really the last 2-3 months since the approval?
Since the approval, my life has gone back to the ground zero fight. And I've been up over in Palisade at the Great River, Mississippi House, protecting at the Welcome Water Protector Center. And I've been out there 24/7. I think I've maybe gone home 2 days for self-care and been out there at ground zero watching what they've been doing and voicing my opposition to it. I've been telling DNR, Minnesota DNR and Minnesota law enforcement that they have no jurisdiction and they are in the 1855 treaty territory. I've had state legislators up there visiting the camp and welcome center, and I've also told them also that, you know, the game's over, whatever game that they're playing, the lease is up and the land goes back to the natives.
Anything else you'd want to say? I know it's cold and you're probably trying to get back to what you're doing.
I would like them to know that they're welcome to come up to the Welcome Water Protector Center. You can find it at welcomewaterprotector.com and find out the details and where the address is and all that good stuff. And right now we're looking at needing more wood.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's the biggest need right now. People can't make it out there?
Yep, exactly. It's been like 26 below zero at nights, so we've been trying to keep warm as much as possible, and we may need a little bit more mittens out there also.
All right.
So keep praying, and right now it's stopped with the horizontal drilling because of the frozen rivers. They cannot go underneath the rivers and stuff like that when it's frozen. So just keep praying that the permit is revoked and we be able to stop this pipeline. Stop line 3.
Quick question before you go. I think there's 22 river crossings. Have any of them been crossed yet?
Not at this point. And there's 8 places where they have pump stations at, and they've been furiously getting that back into play and stuff like that. But right now, none of the crossings have been breached yet. So we're hoping and praying. We're hoping and praying.
Thank you very much.
Miigwech. Hey, Joe Biden, stop this pipeline, just like KXL. Miigwech.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for putting all this. Thank you.
I'm Tasia.
I'm so sorry to jump in your conversation. I'm going to be up north in the next couple of weeks. I'll try to connect with you. I'm Nico, by the way.
We look forward to it. We love unicorn rides.
Hey, sending love right back. You want to talk real quick? Can I ask you a question real quick?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay. You okay being on camera?
Yeah.
All right, sweet. So what is Brown Beret? And you all were doing security today. Can you talk about it?
We were more marshalling than anything, but the Brown Berets is a group for Chicano and mostly minorities movements. You know, we want the kids to be freed. We want, you know, better life for our people, basic rights for DACA. And we've been pushing a lot forward, but mostly when we come out to these events, we marshal and make sure our people are protected, because no matter what happens, us as Brown Berets will put ourselves in the front line and make sure nobody's harmed.
I saw that Brown Beret contingent went up north as well. Can you just talk about real quick when the Brown Berets in Minnesota got reunited or recreated?
The Brown Berets in Minnesota were here around 1970 or a little later, but we got recreated earlier this year around June by my carnal Biclan Teculi, who is out of state now, but he started the organization back up in here. We got connected national again, and we've actually had other Brown Berets come up and meet us, and we're getting a lot more active. We're pretty deep, and you know, we're always recruiting. If you have any questions, you can follow us on those Brown Berets in Minnesota, Brown Berets Minnesota. If you're indigenous, African American, you know, Chicano, come join us. You know, stand on the front line with us. You know, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. You see a large amount of police continue to drive by. They're blocking the streets up the block as well as allowing other people to still be out in the street right now. They've cleared some of the streets. So we are live from St. Paul. You know, probably just going to bring the stream down. I sort of talked to a couple people and everybody dipped off to get back to their vehicles. Very cold out here, and nighttime is setting in, and we're I think about to have some kind of a snowstorm. You heard it's not cold. It's not as cold as it is here in downtown St. Paul as it is up north. Negative 26 at the nighttime, you heard. Just very, very chilly. But a lot of people are holding it down up there, living outside. There's different shelter that people are staying in, and numerous camps. So what you heard from people today is a continued call out, especially from Tasha at the end, a continued call out to have water protectors join, have water protectors come up to the camps. Here's some art here in St. Paul. This is the light rail. Sort of here in Lower Town. Okay, so thank you all for joining the stream. This was a lot. Stop Line 3, Protect the Water, Revoke the Permits rally here in St. Paul. We've had quite a few videos be published recently in the last day or two. Two of them specifically showing direct actions that halted Line Street construction, and another one with an interview with Tania, who we just heard from a minute ago. Here goes medics. We're gonna walk behind. One of the renowned medics here, Corey, just went back to the equator, Ecuador. Shouts to Corey. Corey was continually going up to the camps as well. So, we'll bring the stream down. If you want to know more information about the resistance to Line 3, go to unicornriot.ninja. Check out our website. Check out our Twitter feed, _ninja. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Vimeo, and check out our Twitch. We do have a Twitch popping off, unicorn_riot. We are a 501c3 nonprofit educational media organization. All of our media is supported by you, funded by you, and commercial free, and free for you to view if you have the internet. I guess there is that one side. So anyways, I will take the stream down. Chris, thank you for running the back end. I cannot text right now because my fingers are very cold, so you can take the stream down. Again, thank you all for joining. unicornriot.ninja/donate is how you can support our work. Any support you give is tax deductible and goes straight to the collective. Again, thank you all for joining. We will be around continuing to produce media in the future. Have a good night, you all. Stay warm.
Sorry, do you need my name or anything?
Only if you want to provide it.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Okay. Yeah. The last words from the Brown Beret. What's your name?
Xochimazat. It's XOCHIMAZALT.
Word.
Thank you. Just wanna.
All right. Have a good night, you all. Peace.